Urza, Chief Artificer, is one of the face commanders of the two new Brothers War Commander Precon decks, and you, the community, voted on him for me to do a quick budget upgrade. The total price for all the new cards I've added to this list is about 25 bucks, with the most expensive card being $4 and the average card price being just 90 cents. Now, with that out of the way, first things first, what's the game plan? Let's quickly go over Urza, Chief Artificer. For 3 generic, a blue, a black, and a white, we get a 4/5 that has Infinity for artifact creatures, meaning Urza costs 1 generic mana less for each artifact creature we control. So if we have 3 artifact creatures, he would cost white, blue, and black. Something to note, this affinity for artifacts can also cover command attacks. So if we cast Urza from the command zone for a second time and we have 5 artifact creatures, he will still only cost a white, a blue, and a black. Next, artifact creatures you control have Menace, meaning artifact creatures can only be blocked by 2 or more creatures. And finally, at the beginning of our end step, create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact we control, or as most people call them, a construct. So the plan is simple. Play cheap artifact creatures and mana rocks to get Urza in play ASAP, create an overwhelming robot army of constructs and thopters, and protect the Commander-in-Chief, Urza. And without further ado, let's get into it. To start, I added the 3 Myrrh mana rocks in our colours: Gold Myrrh, Leaden Myrrh, and Silver Myrrh. I also added in their older brother, Paladin Myrrh, which taps for 2 colourless mana. Continuing with the Myrrh family, I've also added Shimmer Myrrh, which gives all our artifacts flash. All of the Myrrh Bros combine nicely with Myrrh Battlesphere 2. Our final additional mana dork is Ornithopter of Paradise. It taps for any colour, as well as helping reduce Urza's Infinity cost. As an added bonus, it also flies, which may come in handy later on in the game when we're attacking with our creatures. This additional mana is also excellent for pumping into Dig Site Engineer to get even more constructs. To also help with the ramping, Chief Engineer gives our artifact spells Convoke, meaning we can tap any of our creatures, including Thopters and construct tokens, to help cast any of our artifacts. Foundry Inspector and Jehora's Familiar also helped reduce the cost of the majority of our spells. Now we've got our mana in play, it's time to summon Urza and protect him. Now, because Urza is such a powerhouse in this deck, I've added a couple of different ways we can protect him. First up, we have the counter spells. We've got Access Denied, a 5 mana hard counter that generates us a bunch of flying Thopters. The bigger the spell, the more Thopters we get. I really like this card as we can counter someone's big spells and then potentially kill them when the turn cycles back to us. I've added in Negate, a nice cheap mana efficient spell that can not only protect Urza, it can stop any board wipes trying to destroy our army. And finally, for counters, we have Stoic Rebuttal. 9 times out of 10, it's just a straight up counterspell. And of course, when you have the budget, you can just swap it out for counterspell. In terms of other ways to protect Urza, I've added Lauren's Escape. This is a really nice card, as for just 1 white mana, we can not only protect our commander, but if we need to, we can turn it towards one of our other important artifacts. Another nice protection synergy you should be aware of is the interaction between Liquid Metal Torque and new addition, Padim Council of Innovation. Just keep in mind with these two on the battlefield, you can quickly turn Urza into an artifact and give him hexproof if you need to protect him from a single target removal. Don't forget to protect side 2, he is about as important as Urza in this deck. Speaking of removal, I've added in some catch-all removal with Fracture, Utter End, and Void Rend. These are mainly here to stop cards that would upset our strategy and remove opponents' combos. I've also swapped out both board wipes and gone for a single Organic Extinction instead. There is one more board wipe I would like to add, but more on that later. Oh, and as a pseudo board wipe, I've also included Perplexing Test. As most of our army is going to be tokens, and the fact that we can quickly stack cost reduction and recast everything, this card is excellent for clearing the way for a lethal swing. Because we're an artifact deck, there are plenty of simple combos we can use to win the game. So to make sure we hit these, I've added a tiny bit more card draw. Thirst for Knowledge is an instant speed, draw 3, discard 1 most of the time. Research Thief allows us to swing in with a couple of innocent 1/1 Thopters and then out of nowhere turn them into baby Shadow Mage infiltrators and draw a bunch of cards. And while it's not card draw, Aethersworn Sphinx is generally a 2-mana cascade that can hit everything in our deck bar 1 card. So getting a 4/4 flyer and a bonus spell all for just 2 mana seemed too good to pass up. With drawing all these cards, this lets us power up the new edition Efficient Construction. For every artifact spell we cast, we get a bonus flying Thopter. And with all these additional artifacts, Nettle Cyst was an easy inclusion. It can be a threat by itself, or you can simply attach it to one of our flyers and likely swing for a lethal hit. Or you can simply awaken every non-creature artifact and turn them into 4/4s with flying thanks to Cyberdrive Awakener. This 6 mana 4/4 is an absolute all-star, and if you're only able to pick up 1 card to upgrade this deck, this should be it. And if you can't win with Cyberdrive Awakener, you simply only need to add 1 more card to the Precon and you unlock yourself an infinite life loss combo. All you need to add is just a single Sculpting Steel. Here's how the combo goes. Have a Marionette Master on the battlefield, or the backup I added, Disciple of the Vault, and have either Sculpting Steel in the graveyard and a Shroom the Hegemon in your hand, or a Shroom in play and a Sculpting Steel in hand. Let's just say we have both in our hand. We cast Shroom and bring back an artifact from the graveyard. We then cast Sculpting Steel, copying Shroom. Before triggers are placed on the stack, the legend rule takes effect. We put either Shroom or Sculpting Steel into the graveyard, and then when triggers are placed on the stack, we target whichever one went to the graveyard. And thanks to Marionette Master or Disciple of the Vault, an opponent will lose life. You can then repeat this loop until you win the game. The final 2 cards are one of my favourite combos/synergies, Sword of the Meek and Thopter Foundry. With these 2 cards in play, we can make as many Thopters and gain as much life as we have mana available. With the Sword and Foundry in play, we sacrifice the Sword to the Foundry and make a 1/1 flying Thopter. When that happens, the Sword comes back from the graveyard and attaches to that creature. We can then repeat the combo at instant speed for as much mana as we have. It's because of this combo and Cyberdrive Awakener that I've left all the mana rocks in the deck bar 1. Don't forget, there's only one caveat with this combo. If you have the Tempered Steel in play, the Thopters will not be 1/1s and will not trigger Sword of the Meek. So make sure to treat Tempered Steel as a surprise instead of just slamming it down on turn 3. Now, you'll have noticed that I didn't include any of the Warhammer 40k cards, and that's because they're so damn hard to get a hold of right now. But there are 3 you should keep an eye out for. The 2 budget ones are Crypto Thrall and Their Name is Death. Crypto Thrall is another way to protect all our key artifacts, while Their Name is Death is just another one-sided board wipe. And if you can track one down, Biotransference makes all the constructs massive while generating even more artifacts. For some non-40k upgrades, Treasure Vault is an excellent land that adds to our artifact count, as well as being able to suddenly produce a bunch of artifacts. Swing in with your constructs and then suddenly make a bunch of treasures? Whoa! Urza, Lord High Artificer, easily slots into the deck. I don't have to explain why he's so powerful. Anointed Procession can double up all of our token generators, while Akroma's Memorial can give all of your creatures some ridiculous abilities. Jin Gitaxias, Progress Tyrant, is an excellent way to double up your artifacts while protecting your own, and Darksteel Forge gives nearly everything indestructible. I've included all of my upgrades in the Considering section on Moxfield. Make sure to check it out. If you want to see a side-by-side comparison of the original Precon list and my list so you can see what has been removed, check out the comparison link in the description down below. If you would like to see the Mishra Precon budget upgrade video, be sure to like this one and let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and I will see you next time.